All right, welcome. Can you guys hear me? Is everyone able to see me right now in this solo stream where we discuss some very serious topics of a very important nature? Okay, I couldn't keep it with a straight face. I'm very sorry to say. Welcome. Just gonna wait a few seconds for people to start filtering in. I will probably include a chapter if this is a chapter break to skip ahead of all this stuff when you join in on I guess a post, live stream, video, whatever it might be. All right, yep. The strum is starting today, and we have a rather silly, goofy topic for you. I guess I'll just wait a little bit to let everyone in and start talking nonsense before we get started on the real topic you've come in here. Hence the rather ridiculous thumbnail. And I'll explain why I got this idea too, is to kind of give you some background as to why we're doing something this goofy on a day like this. Couple things, for one, I've been hard at work on this week's video. I will hold back on saying what the video is for sure. Because it's going to be a wild one. Arguably more controversial than last week's, if it gets to the wrong audience. This week's video, so we'll see how that goes. I've also been working hard at my book. I don't talk about this too often on social media, but I've been writing a novel for the last year roughly. I just finished draft 2, and I'm going to be sending it to my editor. I know I told them I was going to send it after work today, but it's going to have to wait until after the stream because I needed to eat food, and there was a new video about Pacific Rim that came out, so I had to watch that. Already through my contributions for the series. Oh yeah, this would be controversial for sure. Character sexualities, that's not goofy. That's just what 90% of the fandom conversations persist of. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm very confused by fandom today. Because back when I was a kid, it was all shipping wars. People were talking about not so much who'd win. Well, people would talk about who'd win in a fight too, but people were obsessed with who was in love with who and who was romancing who and who's being shipped with who. It was a whole big thing. And nowadays people seem more interested in, I don't know, fandom drama. Who knows? I'm expecting this to be a little bit of a lighter stream because I don't think this topic is as massively popular as, say, discussing Lily Orchard or controversies involving Jello Apocalypse. But, what are you going to do? It'll be a fun little stream. We'll talk a little bit as people come in. Has anyone seen the new Crow pictures that came out? Anyone see the new Crow stuff? So in case you're unaware, in case this is dated, photos for the new Crow movie came out in Variety. Just a few photos select. And they look horrible. I kind of hate them. Because The Crow is already such a very important work of fiction in general. And you have Bill Skarsgård, who I think is a terrific actor. I think he's fantastic as Pennywise, and I think he was great in Hemlock Grove. But I think he was great in Barbarian. But this looks just dreadful. He looks like people comparing him to Devil May Cry's Dante, the DMC remake Dante, and just no, not about that. I miss Shipping Wars. The Shipping Wars felt like way less dumb than a lot of modern fandom drama. Yeah, the Shipping Wars got violent, though. People got intense over that stuff. And don't forget, the entire group Clamp only exists thanks to Shipping Wars. Because of the whole JoJo's Bizarre Adventure egg debacle. By the way, I'm going to avoid mentioning any Clamp characters in this bisexual discussion because I think by default they are all bi unless otherwise stated. See more comments here. By the way, because we are issuing super chats for the first time, here's a condition that I'm going to set away right now. If you want your comment to be absolutely read, put it in a super chat. I will try to respond to as many comments as I can. I cannot guarantee I will respond to all of them, only because I just am, human. But if you want your comment to be read 100%, send it in a super chat. Otherwise, I will try my best to respond to everything I can, but I'm still figuring out how to incorporate super chats into these sorts of things. But as we just managed to become monetized on this channel, which is quite impressive, I got my first notification that I have $420 waiting for me after a half day of being monetized. Pretty great. So we have that waiting for me, some 420 on the monetization scale. So people coming in now. This is actually pretty cool. Okay, cool. I'm probably going to delay for a couple minutes more as more people filter in, but let's keep going. He looks less like the Crow and more like Machine Gun Kelly cosplaying as Jared Leto's Joker. Yeah, 100%. I feel like a lot of Hollywood producers think Machine Gun Kelly is like the new goth, even though Machine Gun Kelly isn't exactly a new figure in pop culture. I kind of just assume that film studio heads are just like 20 years out of date with everything going on. It says on Twitter, but again, all the Sailor Moon cast at least bi. We will be discussing that in detail. Are we including vampires in this discussion? Well, I'm sorry to say I don't think I put any vampires on this list. I'm going to show you my methodology soon, which is always fun. Vampires, though, feel like are definitely by default bi for the most part because they'll drink anyone's blood. But I digress. The D&D game was rescheduled. Oh, that's really cool. I hope you have a good D&D game when you do have it, though. But anyway, I think we have the beginnings of an audience, and I don't want to bore you to tears by delaying what you guys all came here to do. So, I'm bringing over the chart. So, this is the PowerPoint. Now, here's how this works. I'm just going to enter into the slideshow now. The methodology is very simple for this. I asked my friends on Discord, tell me what characters I should put on here. I came up with a few. They came up with most of them. I have put in very little thought into any of the selections, and will try to think my way out of a small little box with this. So the concept is this. Every slide is a different character. They are, I think, 75 characters in total. We're going to go through each one, and I'm going to make an argument as to why they are or are not bi. Now, a few of them, I will make the argument that they are not bisexual. So, I'm not just going to say everyone's bi. That's boring. That wouldn't be fun. But I have to justify it. Now, if you want to play the game in the comments, you absolutely can. I will try to read comments as they come in as I pause for breath to think. But if you want your comment read 100%, put it in Super Chat. I'll see it, and I'll make sure I read it right away. I'm assuming that my setup will tell me when I get a Super Chat, so here's hoping that if you do that, I won't miss it. I don't think I will, but we shall find out. I have no idea how this works from OBS's chat screen. Now, a couple things in order. I have my beverage in hand. This is a straight-up scotch. And if you want to... Oh, wow, there's a Super Chat already. Wow. Most of One Piece's main characters are all bi-coded, especially Nami during Alabasta Saga. Also, Super Chats work, lol. Thank you, Cinemageddon, for confirming this chat works. Yeah, that is a good point. One Piece's main cast, I would say all of them are bi. Of all the characters from One Piece, I'd say the most bi would have to be... Who'd be the most bi character in One Piece? Part of me wants to say Nico Robin, because I feel like she has that, but that vibe. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say actually one character is not bi, and that would be Luffy. I think Luffy is ace. Straight Scotch, yeah, this is straight Scotch. I know, the cruel irony. Straight up Scotch in my bisexual live stream, I love it. I feel it's hard to have a pirate story and not have them be bi. Yes, I think One Piece is a good case for that, but if you're talking about bisexual pirate stories, the most bisexual pirate story I can think of is Pirates of the Caribbean, off the top of my head. That's extremely bisexual. Up there with The Mummy in some ways in terms of formative fantasy. I think the way to know for sure is if someone's done a Getting By music video about them. Well, here's the real sign. If someone's made fan fiction about them, that's no guarantee, because everyone's gotten bisexual fan fiction written about them. Luffy, ace, without question. Yeah, Luffy's ace. Luffy's an ace icon. There'll be a couple characters here who I will make the argument are ace. Okay, so I think we're going to get started. Sanji is bi, but has internal biphobia. Yeah, that's a valid point. He definitely is. He definitely has the vibe of that. I think Zoro also would be kind of like either ace or internalized kind of prejudices. I'm not sure, but again, that's just going off vibes. I feel like Nami and Nika would be the most open, and Usopp would be the most open to that. Anyway, so getting off topic, Shinji. We'll get to Shinji. Don't worry, Shinji's on this list. Let's start off our discussion with an easy one. Usagi, Sailor Moon from Sailor Moon. This one is the easiest one on the list, and one of the thumbnail ones. I figured I'd start with one character in the thumbnail. Don't worry, it's not just those 4. They are 75 characters we are going to be discussing in this stream. And I will keep going until I finished every one of these 75 characters. I think roughly 75. I think there's a couple doubles too. Usagi, Sailor Moon, is absolutely bisexual. For one, she's the guardian of love. So already her powers are derived from her love of everyone. Whenever Usagi sees someone who she likes, especially in Crystal in the manga, she gets all blushy and excited. She follows Rei across town just because she wants to get to know that cute girl. She's absolutely in love with women. But not just women. Obviously, Usagi ends up being destined to Tuxedo Mask. She feels a very strong affection towards everyone around her. She gains crushes on multiple people. Canonically, she has crushes on Mamoru, for which is obvious, Tuxedo Mask. She has a crush on several of the boys in the anime. Again, that's canon. She has a crush on Haruka, Sailor Uranus. They kiss in the manga in Crystal, and they're very flirty in the series, in the original 90s show. And she has a relationship with Seiya, who is, depending which canon, in the 90s anime, Seiya can physically turn their body between mask and femme, though I think they identify as female, primarily. And in the manga and Crystal, Seiya does not change her body. She just disguises as a male, but there's still some feelings after that point. Now, what's that? We'll take a look at that. Most people are saying that Sailor Moon is a bicon. Yep, like I said, this is low-hanging fruit. This is an easy one. Sailor Moon, obviously bisexual. And if the canon's not enough, where she is attracted to both men and women, and non-binary characters in the case of Haruka, if the fan interpretation is very clearly too bi-coded, she is constantly attracted to her friends. She seems to have hard eyes whenever she sees a cute girl, especially in Crystal. Yeah, no, complete bicon. Seiya is gender fluid. Yeah, I think Seiya being gender fluid is probably a right way of phrasing it. I feel like it always depends on which version of the show you're watching. So I know that I think the manga Seiya does not still identifies as female throughout, just disguises as male. But the 90s anime is more fluid about gender identity with Seiya, I think. But again, I could be mistaken. I should probably do a video on Sailor Moon sometime soon, like a full video essay. Next question, Tuxedo Mask. Now we know Sailor Moon is bi. That's a low-hanging fruit. But is Tuxedo Mask bisexual? Well, let's look at the evidence. For one, there's no argument that Tuxedo Mask, Mamoru, likes women. Obviously, he marries Usagi. So, that right there, pretty straightforward. But in Sailor R, the movie, there is his friend, whose name eludes me. Fior, I think, right? Fior? Yeah. Movie-only character, not canon to the manga or the Crystal, but there is a relationship there, a lot of hand-holding, a lot of rose-giving. I think that, I would make the argument that Mamoru is also possibly bisexual, but isn't aware of it. Tuxedo Mask is not bi, he's too well organized. Okay, that's a fair argument. He is very organized. He has a tendency to sit straight in all situations. And he wears a tuxedo whenever he wants. So, I don't know what to say. Sailor Moon's director seemed very into girl. Yes, the director of Sailor Moon for seasons 2 through 4 would later go on to make Revolutionary Girl Utena and Penguin Drum. So, there you go, right there. And if you haven't thought of Penguin Drum in the last 10 years, well, now you're thinking of Penguin Drum again. Sorry. Tuxedo Mask is either straight or he's a very repressed bisexual. I don't think there's any argument to be made that he is, overtly bi. If he's bi, he's very repressed. Most likely, somebody else would be an argument towards him, but yeah, I would lean towards him being bi, but like kind of like 99% of crushes are female, and like the one is, you know what I mean? Like it's mostly more towards the straight end of things, but still has some leanings potentially. Could be bi-curious. He might be bi-curious. That's true. However, there is one character also who I think is very much canon. I think you can make the argument this character is canon bi, but we shall see. And that is Sailor Jupiter. Now, Sailor Jupiter obviously is in love with everyone who looks like the upperclassman who broke her heart. I also hear a lot of people say that they think Sailor Jupiter might be like trans-coded in some ways, where a lot of trans women have identified with Sailor Jupiter in one way or another. I am not trans, so I cannot make that argument. That would be for any trans women in the audience who feel that you identify with Sailor Jupiter. This is your time to come forward and discuss that, but that's not my topic to say. What I do think, though, is that Sailor Jupiter is bisexual based on one episode based on two things. One, people love shipping her with Sailor Mercury, which is, I think, an adorable comparison. But also there's that one episode in Sailor Moon S where she starts crushing on Haruka. Now, Haruka is non-binary in the manga and in Crystal, but in the 90s anime, that's never established. I mean, it's implied, but it's never directly stated like it is in the original manga. And she has a deep crush, visibly has a crush on her, starts blushing around her and everything. So that right there is kind of an implication that Jupiter could swing that way. Maybe not all the time, but there are some moments there, and that is my argument for that. Is Asuka on here? Asuka Langley Soryu is not on this particular PowerPoint, but if we do it a second time, I think she could be on here. Hey Chloe, what's up? From last week, Chloe is here. I'm one of those people who thinks Jupiter is totally transcoded. I mean, I've even dedicated talking points in my videos on it. Also, Jupiter totally has the hots for Haruka. I agree on both parts. Watch Chloe's video on it. I will probably include a link in the description below. If you send it to me, Chloe, through Discord or something like that, I'll add it on the rewatch. Whatever video we talk about Sailor Jupiter, specifically, that you want me to help you monetize, help promote. Jupiter always appeared to me as the hot bi girlfriend many of us dreamed about, but also one that's always out of our league. That's possible. I find it so strange, by the way, that Sailor Jupiter is feels ostracized for her height. Do you know how tall Sailor Jupiter is in canon? Without looking it up, can you guess? She's 5'6". She's 5'6", and they always portray her as this giant towering over everyone else. I know everyone else is really short. I think Usagi is 5'1", but still, I digress. Haruka is Envy. Haruka is non-binary in the manga. She outright says that Sailor Michiru, Sailor Neptune, outright says that Haruka is both male and female, embodying both traits, and that's adapted into the Crystal as well. That particular line. Yeah, you are taller than Sailor Jupiter. Okay, for now, we're going to put a pause on Sailor Moon characters. I actually forget which characters to put on this PowerPoint, by the way. There's a mix. There's a mix of things. Tall, strong women is always a good thing. I love tall, strong women in general. That's why I always romance Karlach in Baldur's Gate. Anyway, Wolverine, another thumbnail character. We have half the thumbnail characters down. Hopefully, I snuck the others deeper in this PowerPoint so we don't run out of all of them early on. Wolverine, I think, is bisexual. And it's a little complicated because there are multiple canons with Wolverine in them. Wolverine is canon bisexual in at least one continuity where I think he's the president of Canada, the prime minister of Canada, and he has Thor medal for claws, and he's married to Hercules. That's another continuity. I'm talking 616 Wolverine, where in the recent run he has a threesome with a throuple between himself, Jean, and Scott. Now, obviously, I think Wolverine's doing it primarily for Jean. But it would not surprise me if Wolverine was also bi. He has... And there's, of course, that famous comic book cover where he is sitting down... Which that was unintentionally one of the gayest things ever. We're sitting down with a beer, glances over, and there's Nightcrawler walking in, silhouetted from behind. And he looks like he's completely bare. Wolverine consistently, I think, has that vibe. So Wolverine is definitely currently in a poly relationship with Scott and Jean. Yeah, that is canon. He's Canadian. That makes him most likely bi, signed, a Canadian. Well, I'm not going to argue Canadians arguing that a Canadian icon is bisexual. He's had too many tragic romances with women not to be bi. Yeah, Chloe, you're right. He's had too many tragic relationships not to be bisexual. All of his love stories end horribly. Like, he always ends up losing the love of his life every single time. It's heartbreaking. He's a repressed bisexual. I can see that. Yeah, I would say he's probably repressed. That's my best bet. That's the story I'm sticking with on this one. All right, who's next? Sabretooth. Sabretooth. Okay. A lot of people were upset with my last X-Men video, by the way, where I joked saying that Wolverine was a power bottom and Sabretooth was obviously gay because he kept walking around with his butt out. So Sabretooth has had relationships with women. That is true. He is too obsessed with Wolverine, I think, not to have a little bit of... Like, there's that thing with a lot of rivalries in fiction where, because of the nature of intense rivalries, it sometimes comes across as romantic. So, for example, a lot of enemies to lovers stories, the repressed element, the forbidden love, is the idea that they hate each other so much that they want to get a little intimate with one another. That's the commonality in a lot of these enemies, rivalships. And I think Sabretooth comes across to me as someone who doesn't care who he's with so long as he's scratching an itch he might have. I think then that would make him more pan than bi. Because I think he's more into... I don't know. I feel like Sabretooth just doesn't care. I don't think he cares about who he'd be with as long as he's with someone in that instance, except for Wolverine, who he needs more than anyone else. Sabretooth's powers are basically a lot like Wolverine's power set. They're very evenly matched. They both went through Weapon X. They both have a healing factor. I can see Sabretooth being very repressed for bisexual. That's my hunch anyway. For Sabretooth and Wolverine. I think they're both bi, but I think that Sabretooth is probably the more animalistic, whereas Wolverine's a little more repressed, given their natures. I feel like no one has any comments on Sabretooth, though. So I'll just move on. It's a shame, because Sabretooth is a great character. I do love Sabretooth, but I digress. Tifa Lockhart. Is Tifa bisexual? And this is the inspiration behind this entire video. Because Tifa... I saw some chuds on YouTube complaining that people wanted to make Tifa bisexual or gay for Aerith, and I had to discuss it. Sabretooth is likely a pan, but only has strict feelings for... Yeah, basically, he's pan, but he only wants Wolverine. He's out of the kids, but he just wants Wolverine. Yeah, Sabretooth needs fit therapy, obviously, definitely, for sure. So, Tifa Lockhart. In case you're wondering, no, this is not official gameplay footage. This is a modded gameplay, because I think Tifa needs to be buff as possible. The amount of shipping wars I saw over old fan forums over who they ship Tifa with is absurd. Tifa is bi for pay. Yeah, Tifa's bi for... If you give Tifa money, she'll do whatever she wants. Basically. So, okay. So, in case you weren't around in the late 90s for the shipping war battles, people always were fighting over who Cloud would end up with. Aerith or Tifa. And for the longest time, there was a small subset of people who argued Tifa and Aerith wouldn't be fighting, they'd be with each other. And as time went on, this got stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So, typically speaking, a lot of people would make the argument that, hey, Tifa and Aerith, they should be together. Obviously, in most canons, Tifa ends up with Cloud. She has strong feelings towards Cloud. No one is saying otherwise. I think they have a beautiful relationship. One that helps Cloud heal with his trauma. But in the new remake, there is a lot of Tifa and Aerith shipping. In terms of gameplay, in terms of flirting, in terms of friendliness. The question becomes, is Tifa bisexual, or is she just very friendly with women? I'll say one thing. No girl has ever walked out looking like her, with abs like those, hanging out with a cutie like Aerith could possibly be bisexual. Well, who knows? Tifa is trying hard to get Aerith and Cloud together so she can insert herself in the middle, because she can't decide between the two of them. That sounds about right. Tifa, I feel, is a bisexual, and I feel she has the hots for both Cloud and Aerith, and would just love nothing more than to have a big throuple with them. Or a threesome. Or just a poly thing in general. I think this is pretty straightforward, and I think of the three characters who we constantly ask about, are they bisexual? I think Tifa is the most straightforward and obvious of them. I think Cloud's... We'll get to Cloud and Aerith later. I've split up the trinity of these characters throughout the PowerPoint, as well as a couple other Final Fantasy VII characters who will come into conversation at a later date. Also, Aerith and Aerith look cute together. I love the contrast, especially when fan artists draw Tifa as a little more buff, because Aerith is so dainty and delicate in theory, but also a complete badass who will beat you with a chair if she's upset with you while smiling. Whereas Tifa is always ready to throw hands, but also has a calming aura about her, but also will throw hands when need be. I love that contrast between the two of them. And Cloud's just kind of mopey and sad and morose, but also he's a great character. I love Final Fantasy VII. I think it's a great game. I just realized a spelling mistake. I mean, to say couldn't possibly be. She absolutely is. Oh yeah, she's absolutely bi. Maximilian Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! Here's the question. Is Maximilian Pegasus bisexual, or is he a repressed homosexual? Straight is not an option. There is no way you could ever convince me that Maximilian Pegasus was heterosexual, despite the fact that he has a wife or something like that, who dies, I think, or runs away in the dub. There is no way in heaven or on earth that Maximilian Pegasus could possibly be straight. It is simply not in the cards for him. Maybe he's just European. Apparently he's American, according to the canon of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. So either the wife's a beard, or Pegasus is bi. I really don't have an answer for you. This one, actually, I'm leaning towards he's gay, honestly. I don't think I don't know. I know he's married to a woman in canon. I know that, but I don't know if I believe he's straight or likes women at all. I don't know. If he's bi, he's really on like the other end of the Kinsey scale. Like I don't bi with a preference for men. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I don't mean to shame anyone, but Pegasus I feel like is, I mean, like, have you heard him? Yeah, I think he's repressed. I think he's a repressed gay dude. I think if he's bi, he's on the gayer end of bi. Pegasus is without question the kind of man who marries his girl best friend for the tax purposes while keeping his personal life a secret. Yeah, that's obvious. I feel that's definite. Okay. Any other comments on Pegasus before we move on? Because I will. I feel this is pretty straight. I feel this one is pretty straightforward, as it were. Yeah, so he's canon in the anime, at least. I think in the dub, at least. Again, it's been a while since I've read Japanese Yu-Gi-Oh!, but I know in the American dub for it on 4Kids, there's the backstory about his wife, and they introduce her in the very last episode of Duelist Kingdom, essentially. And they're like, oh no, Pegasus' whole motivation was because his wife died, and it pushed him over the edge. And I'm like, I don't believe you're married, dude. Yeah, he prefers women. Believing he prefers women is hard to believe. Is that he's 24? He's 24. He's 24. Okay, he is 24. I don't believe that at all. I believe that as much as I believe he's straight. All right. Oh, fiance was in the manga too? Okay, cool. So it's not just anime only thing. All right. Moving on. Marin from My Dress Up Darling. Is Marin heterosexual? Now, if this is established later in the manga, I don't know it yet because I haven't finished the manga. I know the manga's still ongoing, but I'm not that far in the manga, so if she's confirmed by later on, this is a retroactive, hey, I'm sorry, but I digress. So, Marin. Yeah, I'd say Marin is bi. Marin, I think, is definitely bi. I think that she loves women, fictional characters a lot. She likes watching smut for women, about women. She's bi. I think also she's probably more towards the center or slightly more interested in same-sex attraction than otherwise. But I think also with Gojo, she's like, just adores that dork. I think it's adorable. Yeah, she also has bi vibes, like the choker and the nails and the hair and everything, and the fact that she loves cosplaying that much and loves how she looks. I love how this show deals with Marin's passion for cosplay. I think it's just beautiful how they focus so much on her personal joy and enthusiasm. Like, she radiates jubilance and self-satisfaction in every instance that she is cosplaying. I think that's beautiful. Is Wakana Gojo bi or ace? I think Wakana Gojo is ace. But like demi ace, where he has to build an affection towards someone to feel sexual attraction, but it's just not on his mind. I think he is definitely, though, not straight entirely. But I think Marin is also. I think it's like a bi ace romance. I think, to an extent, a bi demi romance. That's my thought. Her English voice actor is hella bi and hella... Yeah, Marin's voice actor... If you've never seen Amelie's VTuber streams... There's no heterosexual explanation for anyone that bisexual. Peeper index in middle finger... Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah, good point. Yeah, actually her nails might... That might be a sign she's not bi, given the nails. You gotta cut those nails if you want to... Anyway, I'm not going to make that joke. It's a joke I shouldn't make. But still, in any event, yeah, Marin probably bi. Ranma. So Ranma is obviously one of the gender-bending icons of the 90s. Ranma can switch between male and female identities if doused in hot or cold water. But is Ranma bisexual? Well, the question is, what gender is Ranma? I know that Ranma obviously gets in hijinks with both men and women throughout the entire series, but is Ranma a boy who's transformed forcibly into a girl, or is it over the course of the series that Ranma's gender identity becomes more fluid? There are times in the anime where... I'm going to put this, because these keep slipping. There are times in the anime where it's clear that Ranma kind of has some inklings towards feeling more feminine, more femme. So I think Ranma isn't exactly as cis as a lot of fans would like to insist that he is, or she is. But I do also think that Ranma might be a little... I think Ranma is very fluid, very conditional. He likes to fight. He's more into martial arts. He enjoys some goofy, fun stuff. But is he bi? Is Ranma bi? That I'm not sure. I guess it depends on if you think Ranma's a boy or not. We know for a fact his serious relationships are always him with Akane or another girl. But okay. I'm gonna argue this one that Ranma's Ranma. Okay, cool. Super chat. Hey, Market. It makes more sense to say Ranma is sapphic rather than bi, but they're definitely bi gender. Yes, that's a good point. Ranma is definitely bi gender, because all things be male and female. Maybe Ranma's a they. Yeah, that's a fair point. They. We'll use they pronouns for Rama right now. There's that one scene in the anime or manga later on where they kind of say that they've kind of forgotten that they are transformed into a girl and start feeling like a girl sometimes. There's a lot of elements to Rama. If anyone wants me to discuss Rama and like gender and stuff like that, I could. That's a topic I feel I could just mine for hours and just go through the manga and anime and just discuss it, because there's a lot there, I feel. Yeah, by gender sounds right. I think that's fair. All right, let's move on. Any more comments on Rama, by the way? I'm going to leave it open to the chat to discuss if you guys want to talk about Rama a little bit more before I move on. Another question would be Akane. I think Akane is, given the fact that she likes Rama both as a male and a female as time goes on, I think that it's fair to say that Akane might be not so cis, not so straight herself, but, you know, what are you going to do? Yeah, I think this is definitely a video topic essay. This is not something I can just talk off the cuff about. It has to be something I do more research on to discuss and analyze. A very long-term discussion. That would be a long-term discussion. Anyway, moving on. Captain Kirk from the original Star Trek. Yeah, Akane is definitely bi. Agreed. So, Captain Kirk. So William Shatner has confirmed that he played Captain Kirk as a straight man. However, the Housewives of America would strongly disagree with that sentiment. He is responsible for all slash shipping at the foundational level, because without the slashing culture that he was born from, there would be no way you'd have any of this discussion or any of this intense fan community or fan culture in general. But I'm going to make the argument and say Captain Kirk is pan. I think he would just have a relationship with anything as long as he finds it attractive. I think he primarily would find women attractive, but bi or pan, yeah. I think Captain Kirk, if only to piss off William Shatner, I'm saying Kirk is bi. just because it annoys him. That's the only reason. Given some of Shatner's statements, I often feel he didn't understand the roles he played. Yeah, I don't think Shatner understood a lot of things about the characters he played. I think he exists opposite most of Star Trek. And let's be honest, Shatner has not had the best relationship with the LGBTQ community. Just listen to any time George Takei has ever talked about Shatner. So, for the sake of argument, OG Kirk is either straight or he's completely bisexual, depending on how annoyed I am with William Shatner at that moment. Distant future, I don't think most folks would be part of that. Would at that point. Yeah, that's fair. Shatner can disagree all he wants. Kirk is bi-panned like me, but nowhere near as good looking as Sulu was. That is a fair point, very much so. Kirk is not straight. How about them apples, Shatner? Yeah, basically. But a rancher in Kingdom of the Spiders. There you go. Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, moving on. Now, this slideshow opened the door for possibilities. Shatner Kirk, maybe straight or bi. But what about the new Kirk, quote unquote? What about Chris Pine Kirk? Shatner became even terrified of space, which is ironic. Yep, agreed. It's very ironic that Shatner is terrified of space. I'm going to say Chris Pine Kirk is probably not straight either. Though this Kirk is definitely bi. In part because I think that Chris Pine just brings that kind of vibe to most of his characters in general. Chris Pine Kirk is just... Yeah, Chris Pine Kirk is just... He's just there. He's one of the best Chris's also, I might want to add. Chris Pine. I just dig Chris Pine. I love especially the stories that apparently he took part in a women's erotica writing class. Apparently wrote really good women's erotica, which as a writer, I'm just like, that's really cool. Apparently a lot of women in the class thought he wrote some of the best erotica that they've ever read. So I'm like... He'll just show up at random used bookstores and just buy, like, piles of books. Guy doesn't have a cell phone. I don't know. Him playing a sci-fi adventurer feels very counter to that, but it works out. Yeah, I think Kirk is definitely bi, but he also has more straight components Shatner Kirk. I feel like I think he has more. They pair him up with like Uhura more. That whole thing in the first film, which is a little weird, but I think it develops when he's out on missions. Maybe it's not there when he's still on Earth, but once he learns, yeah, that's fair. Chris Pine makes all his characters feel like bi to a degree, even in D&D. Yeah, Chris Pine in the D&D movie has strong bi vibes. All right, let's move on to the next character. He-Man and Skeletor. Now the question is not are they bi or straight. It's like Pegasus. The train's gone for them ever being straight. The question is are they bisexual or are they gay? Those are the only two options for these characters. He-Man is a strong gay icon, and I don't want to take that away from He-Man. During the 80s and 90s, He-Man was basically one of the most coded gay characters in cartoon history. I think it would be a disservice to say that he is anything other than gay. But Skeletor. He-Man is gay, Skeletor is just bitter. Yeah, that's probably, yeah. I think Skeletor is just... Skeletor, I feel, is just repressed on every level. I mean, he's... Skeletor may be bi, Skeletor may be ace, Skeletor may just be really angry, and very shrill, I might add, as well. I love these two, though. Like, they're not straight. There's no heterosexual explanation for anything in He-Man at all. Yeah, I'm going to lean towards they're not bi. I'm going to say they're gay, especially He-Man. Because whenever he sees Skeletor, his sword just gets longer and longer and longer. Just saying. Just logic. Alright, let's move on. Oh, there you go. Garrus from Mass Effect. This one I threw in because the Discord loves... one of the Discords I'm on loves Garrus. I think he's canonically bi, I'm pretty sure. I think he can be with you no matter what gender you are. But then again, he's also an alien, so I don't know if gender really applies with Garrus. Skeletor has no sexuality, only anger. Yeah, that's accurate. He-Man's sister definitely isn't straight, and that's canon from the most recent She-Ra. Yeah, She-Ra is extremely bisexual, or gay, depending. But Garrus, though, I'm going to say Garrus is canon bi, I think, right? Yeah, I did throw in Garrus. Yeah, Astrid, I did throw in Garrus. What? Anyway, yeah, Garrus is not... There's no heterosexual explanation with Garrus. Garrus just needs to find a perfect man, which Shepard steps in. Yeah, exactly. I think Garrus, again, alien, human sexuality doesn't really apply. I think he is not straight. We've come to Aerith. I think there's a bi reading of Garrus, but you can't romance him as male Shepard. Oh, so you can't romance Garrus as male Shepard. I always thought you could. I've never done male Shepard in Mass Effect. Anyway, so Charlie, my editor, will be very happy I included Garrus on there. They have a massive Mass Effect fandom and one of the coolest Garrus mouse pads I have ever seen. I'm pretty bi for Garrett. Yeah, that's valid. Anyway, we've reached the next branch of the polycual relationship with Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith. Is Aerith bisexual? Yes. The answer is yes. Aerith is obviously bisexual. Aerith is someone who you can... on one level, Aerith is more bonded to people's spirits and souls than the flesh, I'd feel. I feel Aerith... gains emotional attack. I think she's pan more than bi, I would say. I feel Aerith is drawn to people more than genders. Aerith is also extremely funny. I love how people, for years in the Final Fantasy VII fandom, people forgot that Aerith is genuinely really sassy. They would just go in and say, Oh yeah, Aerith. She's very serious. Like you saw, Advent Children recently came out in theaters again. She's very solemn, very serious, very grim. But now she's like, now I'm gonna beat people over the head with chairs. Just gonna have a fun time. I'm gonna swear under my breath. It's great, like the original game. Because the original game, she's not some saint. She's just a fun-loving, happy-go-lucky girl, and that's fantastic. I think it's great that they have Aerith's sense of humor back again. Because for years she was so much of a buzzkill in alternate Final Fantasy media, like Advent Children, Kingdom Hearts, etc. Very grim, very dry. Does anyone remember actually that Aerith was voiced by Mandy Moore in the first Kingdom Hearts game? Any of us remember that? That Mandy Moore voiced Aerith in that first game? I always think of that sometimes. I think it's kind of funny how she never came back to do anything with the character after that initial 5 lines she had in the first game. Yes, people are saying that because Aerith was dead in Advent Children, she was serious. Well, when does dying get rid of your sense of humor? I mean, Sephiroth is still a sassy person in Advent Children, despite being dead too. But I digress. Aerith from Aerith to Rapunzel. Actually, I forget what came first. If it was A Walk to Remember or Aerith that Mandy Moore was in first, but she had a habit of playing characters who died pretty dramatically, doesn't she? Seems YouTube is censoring stuff in chat. What's YouTube censoring? That's weird. There was this air of purity culture romancing of her. Yeah, there was a weird purity culture romanticization of her, which I found very strange. They really did quote unquote purify her to the point where it was sanitized and soulless and drained. It was pretty bad, I thought, for a while. But we're seeing that kind of go away now, which I think is good. I think it's weird when we sanitize these characters too much. Aerith has the ability to make everyone fall in love with her, and she will probably fall back if she finds them to be good enough people. Yeah, agreed. I don't know how you cannot love Aerith. She's just such a lovely, charming character. Testing, translating. Transbian. That came through. Aerith exceeds Cloud a bit in Advent Children. That's true, but it's not the same level as it used to be in the games and in the remake, I'd feel. Honestly, the sassiest Aerith was for a while was in Kingdom Hearts 2, where she, in the Tron segment, where she's teasing the computer. Biromantic demisexual, I'm seeing that's a fair one. Yeah, might be bug. Okay, anyway, so Aerith, she's not straight. We've established that. But whether she's demi-romantic, pan, bi, you name it, she loves a lot of people. Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Okay. I think Sora's bi. I think everyone loves Sora, and Sora loves everyone. He is in the middle of multiple love triangles, sometimes with himself. I feel like Sora is shipped all the time with Riku and Kairi. But the question is, Sora Ace. Yeah, I'd say it's a fair point. I would say Sora, Ace, Bi, or Pan, I think are all valid. I could see Sora the argument being made that Sora's Ace. Bye. Not going to take questions today. Yeah, that's valid. I know definitely he's easily shipped with Riku and Kairi pretty consistently. For a while, Riku was the big... Riku and Sora were the big ship on most JRPG circles. Sora, Riku, and Kairi is just Tifa, Cloud, and Aerith for a new generation, or arguably an old generation now that it's come back in the conversation all over again. Yeah, I think that there's no world in which Sora is definitely all straight. Especially given what he's wearing. Not to be judgmental, but I mean, that's not a straight outfit. There's no straight explanation for that outfit. I'm just saying that right now. Bi-romantic makes the most sense. Yeah, Riku's definitely, I would say, bi, because he is very intensely infatuated with Kairi. I think they're all bi. Kingdom Hearts is not a straight franchise, I feel like. I feel like there's very little straight explanation for Kingdom Hearts. And if you argue that Kingdom Hearts is straight, I'm going to have to make fun of you for that, because I'm sorry. It just is. It's just one of those things, okay? Anyway, more evidence that Sora is straight. Roxas, his nobody is in the closest relationship Roxas has is with both Xion and Axel, especially Axel. Their relationship is very romantic coded, I feel. And of course, there was all the Roxas Sora shippers for a while, which was a very strange self-love thing. His infatuation with Kairi felt more like protective streak than genuine attraction. That's valid. The singer who sings the opening, yes, Hikaru. As I mentioned in one of my videos, Utada Hikaru is non-binary and bisexual. So from top to bottom, Kingdom Hearts is not a very straight series. Yeah, there's no heterosexual explanation for that outfit. Agreed. Now, you're probably wondering, who am I talking about in this image? Black Cat is canon bisexual. That's a canon thing. There's no debate there. But Mary Jane is Mary Jane Watson from the comics bisexual. I don't know. It's a tricky one. I feel Mary Jane is obviously very, very open with her sexuality. So I feel like if she was like bi, at this point she'd be exploring that in more detail. I feel like Mary Jane Watson might be bi-curious. I feel like the writer also depends heavily too. I feel like she could be bisexual. She would have it. I feel like she'd explore her sexuality. She could be. This is a character where if they came forward and said she was bisexual the whole time, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel that's a good point. It really depends on the continuity, though. The Raimiverse, no way. There is no way the Raimiverse Mary Jane Watson is anything but straight. But comics Mary Jane, that's different. And it depends if we're including the recent Spider-Man shenanigans in the story or not. I feel I can go either way with Mary Jane. Straight, bi. If you said either or, I wouldn't argue the point. I feel like canon-wise, she's definitely straight, but there is enough wiggle room with her interactions over the years that you could reframe it as bisexual. It wouldn't be like a Mystique situation where you go back and go, well, obviously she was not straight. Or like a Catwoman situation where you go back and say, obviously she's not straight. But if Mary Jane came out as bi, I wouldn't be shocked. Alright, let's move on. Melanie from Pokemon. The Ice Ant Mommy herself. What do you guys think of this one? I had to include some Pokemon characters here. Provided we know as little as we do about her because she's a gym leader, I'd say she definitely has bisexual mom vibes, I would say. I think that's a fair point. I feel like MJ would be bi-curious after hanging out with Black Cat for so long because there's so much sexual tension simply being around her. It would be impossible for her not to develop feelings. Yeah, that's fair. I see some people are starting I see people immediately thirsting over Melanie in the chat now. Again, it's a little delayed for me, but I'm looking at it right now. I'm seeing some thirst here. How that hairstyle works. Well, the hairstyle is kept that way because she's very cool, and it's frozen in place. That's my working fan theory for mommy here. Yeah, I'd say a 65% chance for her being bi, 50% chance for her being bi. But if she's not bi, she's straight because she does have a kid. Gordy, though, is it Gordy? That's her son's name. There's a chance he's bi. He gives me bear vibes. No, not bear. More like cub vibes. Which is, I think, a very important thing to note. And I feel like I feel she would be very supportive of gay people. I feel like she's very pro-LGBTQ. But I don't know if she herself is gay or bi. She's definitely I think she definitely likes men. I feel like she would be very supportive, though, either way. I feel like she would get you like some nice tea if like you came out to her. That's my vibe. I think she has a good vibe to her. I remember recently there was controversy about the manga My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness, where people were upset that the main character, who's actually the author of the book, it's a autobiography, was talking about how she wanted an older woman to like hug her and comfort her. When I think of that, I think she was talking about someone like Melanie here. Yeah, Gordy could be trans. That's possible too. I can see Gordy being trans. That wouldn't surprise me. He has that kind of vibe. I feel like Gordy is trying to fulfill gender like euphoria, I feel like. Anyway, Team Rocket. Is there any debate on this one? Is there any debate on this one? Is Team Rocket bi? Well, the only debate is which of them are gay and which ones of them are bi. Yeah, right? So, Team Rocket. I'm going to switch drinks up for this one. Yeah. If they're not bi, if they don't have bi-wife energy, bi-partner energy, then I also subscribe to that recent, very popular ship with Jesse and Ash's mom. So, either way, there's no heterosexual explanation. And Meowth's original double voice actor, a lot of people know this, was a trans woman, which was a huge deal at the time, too. So a lot of... James could be gay. That is fair. I know he's engaged to a woman, but that means nothing. Are they Nazis? No, they're not. What are you talking about? No, they're just being exaggerated. They're not. I wouldn't say. Why did I choose this picture exactly? Meowth, I think, is a trans icon. Yeah. No, yeah. This one's a bit of fun. I feel like with Jesse and James, it can go. They're not straight, but I am more inclined to believe that James is bisexual and not totally cis, than Pegasus being straight. Yeah, Jesse and Ash's mom is a great couple. I love the fan art that you see for that recently. That one artist is incredible, and it was a recent interview I think I saw with her, with one YouTuber Coley, that was excellent. I felt. Swade's video in the episode where we met James' family and his fiance is maybe my favorite video of that series. 100% agree with that sentiment. And if I'm being totally honest, that's also one of my favorite episodes of the original series, where you meet James' extended family. I think the episode is fantastic. It's not my all-time favorite episode, but it's up there. Jesse and Ash's mom is agree with that. They're fantastic. Meowth did dress up as Hitler in that one episode. Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. Japan, man. What are you going to do? All right. Garnet from Final Fantasy IX. Princess Garnet. So let's make sure I'm not messing that up. It is Garnet, right? I'm not... Why do I feel that sounds wrong in my head? It is Garnet, right? Yeah, it's Garnet. It's Garnet in Till Alexandros. Okay, cool. Excellent. For some reason, it sounded wrong to me when I was saying that. I was like, Garnet. That's Garnet, right? That's the name? Yeah, anyway. So, Garnet. Is Garnet from Final Fantasy IX bisexual? Yeah. No, I think she's straight. I think she's very straight. I think she gets a bi cut later on, but I'm not... Garnet has such a Disney princess vibe. Or Dagger, yeah. I would say she has such a Disney princess vibe at times, like a Princess Jasmine escaping vibe. If at most repressed by, but like, I think she might be straight. She'd be a very loving straight person, very accepting, very welcoming. She would have a lot of gay and bi friends, I feel like. Final Fantasy IX, case in point. But I don't think she's necessarily bisexual. I have a real clickety-clacky keyboard. One that's real clickety-clackety. Yeah, she's no Lulu. No. Lulu in her dress of belts is definitely not straight. But again, like it's interesting. She's one of the most, I think, heterosexual Final Fantasy protagonists around, and I think that's noteworthy. I think that's worth celebrating. We should accept straight people in Final Fantasy. I think it's time. I think it's time enough for a straight Final Fantasy protagonist. We can welcome one in. We can accept them. It's okay. We don't have to exclude them anymore. Okay, so chat, I will say this. If chat wants to, chat can put in a super chat to recommend new characters we need to discuss. All these have been pre-chosen, but if you want to add one, you can super chat one in, and I will stop everything and discuss that one character. Assuming we haven't already discussed it, but if we have, I will try my best to offer a more detailed explanation as to why I think they are or are not bi. Yuna also feels very straight to me. Yeah, that's valid. I think Yuna might also be straight. But Garnet is first. Dagger is first here. The rest, I do not believe are straight. Rita Mordio from Tales of Vesperia. Yeah, that's another example right there. Alright. Samus. Aran. Metroid. I don't think she has a sexuality. I really don't think... I think that she's just ace. Yuna had a bi-awakening in Final Fantasy X-2. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Her outfit in X-2 is very bi-coded. I feel like Riku in Final Fantasy X is more bi, and definitely Lulu, but I digress. I think it's safe to say that Samus Aran is ace. I think there was always the thing which they were saying she was canonically trans, but that's not really canon. That's more just a designers claiming it often behind the scenes. I think Samus is very, very, very ace. I think she doesn't care about... I don't think... Like someone was saying, Demi, I think Samus is just ace. There is no... She has no interest in any relationships, I feel like. I think aromantic, asexual... 100% ace, I would say. There was Samus promotional comic that for the first Metroid where she had a harem. Oh God, I forgot about that part of the manga. I always remember like the trauma with Ridley. I always forget that she had a harem. Yeah, I still think that in canon of the game she's ace. Anyway, we have a lot of characters to get through. Let's keep moving. Sasuke and Naruto. Is there any question here? I would make the argument that Sasuke and Naruto have better chemistry with each other than they do with their future wives. This is the whole thing with rivals again. It's like the Sora Riku thing, only more intense, because unlike Sora and Riku, these two actually kiss. There is no straight explanation for Naruto and Sasuke, I would say. Her only interest is shooting at Metroids and collecting bounties. And no, we would not acknowledge the bullshit with her and Adam. Well, even with Adam! Okay, let's go back to Samus for a second. Even with Adam, like, there is no indication that she has an actual heterosexual relationship with Adam. Like, Adam is so distant and it's so dominating, but she has no interest in him whatsoever. There's no way that she's like, attracted to people. Anyway, back to Sasuke and Naruto. Sasuke is gay and Naruto is professed bi. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Naruto is bi, because obviously he does have a thing. He does everything for Sakura. He definitely likes Hinata. I would say that Sasuke is probably either repressed gay or a more male-leading bi. He seems to have very little interest in anyone else but Naruto. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear-cut. Samus and Naruto and Sasuke, I'd say probably bisexual. Much like Sam and Frodo. Except Frodo I think is definitely gay. And I would like to say that because Sam does end up with a girl, that with Rosie or, either Rosie's the beard or Sam is bi with a very intense emotional relationship with his with Frodo. You don't dedicate your life to tracking down one person. to bring them back and not have feelings for them. Yeah, agreed. So Naruto obviously devotes all that time to tracking Sasuke down. He is obsessed with Sasuke. He never gives up on Sasuke. He is so singularly focused on Sasuke. Again, better chemistry with Sasuke than he has with his future wife. And he certainly has more of a strong emotional attachment to Sasuke than he apparently does with his own daughter. His own son. I'm sorry. Daughter. Getting them mixed up. Sam is straight, but Frodo bi. That's interesting. I've always assumed that Frodo is the gay and Sam is the bi. I don't think any of them are straight, but I would say that Sam demonstrates more bisexual tendencies, whereas Frodo is more gay. The books, it's interesting because they are much more physically affectionate in the books. Like, all the men in Lord of the Rings are very physically affectionate with each other. There's a lot of masculine bonding. But again, you got to keep in mind, Tolkien was a Catholic from, a different era, really. And physical affection with other men was, I think, a little less associated with homosexuality than it is now. They're definitely not straight, I don't think, in the canon that was created. I'd say, given their relationship, given how affectionate they are, they definitely have a thing for each other. I think Sam is bi. I think Frodo is gay. And finally, we hit the end of the three-way poly relationship here. Cloud Strife. Is Cloud bi? I think he's demi-romantic. I would say that Cloud Strife is demi-romantic. I think he is specifically attracted to the people that he likes, regardless of gender. Oh, here we go. Hang on. A new chat here. Friendly reminder that Wolverine is confirmed pan and is in a relationship with both Jean Grey and Scott. Also, Naruto and Sasuke are reincarnated brothers who are destined to be drawn together. Okay. That is interesting. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, so if we look at them as reincarnated brothers, the whole bisexual thing would be a little weird, wouldn't it? That would be a little weird. It wouldn't stop some anime, but it does indicate they are destined and drawn together by fate. And that's fair. And again, I don't want to argue that there is only a sexual explanation for affection. Obviously, familial affection, friendship, those are important too. But yeah, no, it's a fair point. And Wolverine can and pan. Yeah, again, that's fair. And Wolverine also, like to add, is pan and bi in other continuities as well. Again, the one continuity where he's like Prime Minister of Canada and has a romance with Hercules. They kiss, they're in love. That's fair. Clamp sliding in to say hi again. And Cloud's okay. So Cloud Strife, as you indicate. Okay, can we all agree? Cloud is a favorite JRPG drag queen. Yeah. Cloud makes for a wonderful drag queen. He manages to make straight men gay, dressed as a woman. There is that Nightcrawler Wolverine cover. That's also true. I think also with Cloud is that because of his personality, I feel like he doesn't think romantically unless he gets to know someone first. I feel like he's definitely clueless about love. He's the kind of person you could hit on relentlessly to their face, and he'd just be like awkward and not pick up on it. He'd feel more embarrassed at being perceived than, I think, the knowledge that someone is hitting on him. That's my opinion. Yeah, so Cloud, not straight, I don't think. I think he's probably like pan demi-romantic. That's my hunch. Cloud is also a bottom. That's true. He likes to slash his sword, but he doesn't. I don't think he's slashing too much there. I mean, I would say Aerith is probably the most top energy of all three of this group. Like, Tifa can grin and bear whatever. Cloud, I think, is more submissive. Aerith is leading the charge, I think, on both counts, in my opinion. Never forget, he was not embarrassed about Tifa seeing him in a dress. Yeah, I don't think he cares. I think he's just very, like, a little indifferent. Oh, new super chat. Cloud is a repressed trans woman who is demi, but Saf leaning. Okay, that's fair, too. I do feel like that, again, I'm not trans, so I can't speak to trans identity, but Cloud being a repressed trans woman is a popular fan theory I've seen a lot. And I think it's a fair fan interpretation, not gonna lie. And again, he does dress in a dress, and he does seem to have no issue with it. Both Tifa and Cloud are bottom, Zack switch, Aerith top. Also, we're forgetting one key thing. In the original game, Cloud can go on a date with Barrett. That's canon. It's in the game. So, you can do that. Yes, it is as a gag, but he still asked another guy on a date. That means he has no problem with it. Just saying. A lot of admittedly reductive, but there's a lot of gender oppression going on. Yeah. Cloud. Oh, another super chat. Yorichi from Bleach is bi, Soifon is gay, and Kanami Tonson from Ace is ace but not aromantic. A lot of Arrancar are also queer, along with Grimjaw. Grimjaw especially, I would say, is very gay. And I've been getting the one Arrancar's name, who's like the ice lady. I think she's 3. I think she is definitely very, very, very overt, like, queer vibes as well. Soifon, I think... Isn't Soifon canonically a lesbian? I feel like that's canon, right? Like, it's not subtle. Yorichi is definitely bi. There's no question about that. But I thought Soifon's whole thing was that she was so obsessed with Yorichi that they motivated everything that was character motivation. I thought she was canonically gay. I would be shocked if someone said that there was like some extra canonical thing or some small implication where she's likes a man, but I always thought Soifon was extremely gay. Yeah, everyone's assuming Grimjaw is not gay. He's attracted to strong people. Like, yeah, there we go. Yeah, Grimjaw isn't gay. He's just drawn to power. Yeah, 100% agree with that. Grimjaw is turned on if you can match him in a fight. There's no way you can read Soifon as straight. Reki from Skate to Infinity has huge bi vibes. Everyone from Skate to Infinity is not straight. There's no straight explanation for anyone in Skate to Infinity. All Saiyans from Dragon Ball are demi/power sexual. Okay, hold that thought. I want you to take that thought and hold on to it for a second, because we will be coming back to that exact argument in a bit. I did slip one Saiyan on here. I'm not going to say which one, but we did slip one in there. Grimjaw is a bottom. He can take it. He can take it. He's fine. He's a switch. Okay, Grimjaw's a switch. I'll give him that. And so we've come here. So Riker in the Star Trek Next Gen episode where there was the non-binary alien race. I know that there were arguments behind the scenes about making that one alien race more masculine, and that they were really pushing for it to be more masculine. But then the producers with Star Trek, Rick, what's Rick's name? I forget. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Really pushed against having Riker be intimate with a more gender non-conforming masked character, despite the one alien race that he was with in that one episode being agendered. Riker is fully bi. Riker is pan. Riker doesn't care. Riker's going to be in any relationship. He's open-minded to anything. He's open to anything. This is the face that looks at you when you come out to this. This image is what stares back at you when you're the last person to realize you're bisexual and you tell your friends, hey, I think I might be reconsidering things. And they'll look at you with this same expression going, oh, really? Couldn't guess. Gives off bi, pan vibes, and lower deck. Yeah, exactly. Have you ever wondered if you were bisexual? I can hear that in his beyond belief fact or fiction voice in that tonality. Did you ever wonder if you were straight heterosexual? Do you ever look at another man's? Do you like gladiator movies? Riker wants to have a good time. Riker wants to enjoy himself. He doesn't care about the specifics. He's open-minded. He knows what he's about. Ooh, new super chat. Riker says genitals won't break his stride. Yeah, so Riker is the anti-Kirk in so many ways. That's one of them. He's good with whatever. He's open-minded. He's willing to go through it. He's not like a William Shatner. Anyway, let's move on before I start reciting fact or fiction quotes. Okay, so this one is interesting because there's a canonical explanation for this one. Yuri Katsuki from Yuri on Ice. You like jazz? Yeah, right. Yeah. There we go. Yuri Katsuki, everyone's going to assume is gay, but there are a couple lines in the show early on where he admits he had a crush on his female best friend. I'm going to say Yuri Katsuki from Yuri on Ice is bisexual based purely on the canon of Yuri on Ice, because he clearly has romantic feelings towards a girl, and he's clearly attracted to Victor. Yuri Katsuki's obviously bisexual. There's no question here. You're probably wondering why I chose this image of Yuri as opposed to when he's like skating or something like that. And I'm not going to answer that question for any reasons whatsoever. I'm really parched all of a sudden. Oh yeah, it makes sense to me. Yeah, he's bisexual, and he has disaster vibes. And also, can I just mention right now that I really do love how Yuri on Ice deals with mental illness. I think as a series, there's a lot of elements that when Yuri on Ice became popular, people kind of like were talking, oh, Yuri on Ice, it's so good, da, da, da. But they're overlooking a lot of the ways it deals with mental illness and depression and anxiety, body dysmorphia. Like, there's a lot of elements at play here that are really subtly woven into its narrative that I think are really good. Again, I can go for a lot of different... My curiosity would be like whether his attraction for the girl is situational. I would say Yuri is like 80% into guys and 20% into girls. And again, I think the 20% is situational, but that's still bisexual. Even if you're that closer to gay on the scale. And again, the Kinsey scale is not an accurate representation of sexuality. Sexuality, we have, as we know, is more fluid and more amorphous. But we get it, Anthony. It's the safest for work one in your downloads folder. Yes, that is, you're not wrong, but no, I love Yuri on Ice. It's a good series, and I have to rewatch it again because it's been ages. And Yuri is in a lot of ways also how athletes' bodies don't last long in it. Yeah, it's also true. I do, going beyond the obvious, there's a lot of really interesting discussions about age in the athletics field, especially ones that are more about performance as well as physical power. And ice skating is a tough industry. I feel the show really is underrated in certain sense of the word. Like, we know the romance and all that is really good, but like there's a lot of elements of that show that's really good. Anyway, it's a PowerPoint presentation, so you don't have a Vosh moment. Listen. Okay. Hear me out. I would never have a Vosh moment because I find the safest stuff. When I look for like erotic, hentai and all that stuff, I always go for the safest stuff. I'm so vanilla. It's really terrible. Some of the stuff these streamers have is really crazy. I always get more into like relationships and like the romantic element of erotic storytelling. So that's my go-to. Like, for me, nothing is like sexier in like a story than two people who just really love each other. Even with my writing, when I have erotic scenes, it's usually character development. It's usually a character moment just as much as like an erotic sequence, because I think it's beautiful how you can incorporate human sexuality in a way that develops human relationships, explores personal fears and anxieties. I think it's really beautiful when you see like acceptance and love and these kinds of things. Anyway, I digress. I can go into that topic for a while. I think Yuri on Ice is great. I might just make a stream of that one day. Anyway, Luigi from Mario. He has bi-wife energy. He has bi-wife energy. His dirty paradojans were official things. Yeah, that's valid. Are any of the Jotaros straight? None of the cast of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is straight, and I'll get to that in a second. It's coming up sooner than you think. Luigi. He has bi-wife energy, I think. That's my hunch. That's my vibe. On a safe night, vanilla is where it's at. When the light time comes in, that's when you break into the Pandora's box. Yeah, that's valid. Luigi, I think, does love pegging. Being pegged. I agree. But I don't think he's bi. I think he's just... enjoy. I think he's just very accepting of Daisy, who's obviously his bi wife. Quiet bi, okay, quiet bi or straight but bi wife, I think, is a good way of looking at it, I think. Luigi's open-minded. Luigi's very accepting, I would say. Camper and Mr. Truck. God, yeah. Luigi is ghost sexual. Look at how many times he's lived in that mansion. Yeah, that's valid. He's really sucked up a lot of ghosts over the years. His body count's pretty high. Luigi has a higher body count than Mario, if you think about it. He's sucked off so many... Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Anyway. Anna from When Marnie Was There. This one's interesting. So, who has seen When Marnie Was There? It's one of the last Studio Ghibli films before their hiatus. And Anna... I always watched the movie, as basically a queer protagonist realizing that she's gay. There is no heterosexual explanation for Anna's actions in the movie. There are the scenes where she's blushing when Marnie decides to take her for a dance. There's a lot of elements there. However, this comes with Nintendo confirmed Luigi is ace, Mario is straight. They did confirm that. They went out of their way to confirm Luigi is ace and that Mario is straight. I love that. I love that. I love that they took the steps to actually go, no. He's straight, guys. Trust me. I have it on good authority. Anna is not straight, and again, I'm getting to it. There's no way that she can ever be with Marnie because of who Marnie is in relationship to her life. I will not spoil the ending of When Marnie Was There, but for those of you who have seen this very touching, very emotionally powerful movie, you will know why Anna can never be with Marnie and should never be involved with Marnie. But that does not change the fact that I think Marnie realizes that she may not be totally straight over the course of the film. Luigi is also Rick, as canonically the good ends are the non-one. So dude had 3 mansions and a fortune, but dude just wants to help his bro. That's fair. That's valid. I saw this as a lesbian movie before I saw the movie. Yeah. I actually wrote an article when I was writing for CBR about how it's almost a perfect gay awakening movie until you get to the last 15 minutes. But again, not saying what happens. You should really watch this movie. It's a genuinely great film. And don't read the comments either. I saw a couple people spoil the twist. Anyway. Dio Brando. Dio. Okay, I'm just saying this right now. The Joe stars, they're not straight either. The Joe star line is not straight. But is Dio Brando straight? This is a man who hates his rival so much he will steal a kiss with his girl. You expected your first kiss to be with Joe Star, but it was me, Dio. Yeah. Nintendo confirmed that Toad is Ace too. What? Did Nintendo just go through all their characters and say, no, they're not gay. Trust me. Well, I mean, Toad is Ace. That's fair. But they're not bi. They're not gay. They're Ace or they're straight. There's no other options. I love that. I love that Nintendo did that. I love they went out of the way to do that. It's fantastic. Canonically bi according to a Rocky, but aromantic. Yeah, that makes sense. He's bi. He's all sex, no romance. Dio doesn't have time to romance anyone. He's not there for... He's there for himself. I'm sure Dio's also a very selfish lover. I feel like he would never, ever care about someone else's pleasure. He'd only care about himself. And then laugh if you asked for more. I feel like he'd laugh in your face if, he completed himself first, left, and watched you, kind of upset. It's all over. He would laugh in your face about it, I feel like. I don't know much about JoJo, but I'm convinced no one in that series can be straight. Well... No, there's no way any of those characters are straight. Just none. There's no chance at all. I would have to dig for any heterosexual explanation for anyone in JoJo. Not just Toads. All Toads are Ace. The whole species, the whole race of Toads are straight. You expected romance, but it was me, Dio. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. Dio is Dio is Dio. That wasn't even a hard one. That was just for fun. Like, that's the man who stole the man's body and inserted a child using the stolen body is gay. Yeah, there's I had to have some fun with this. Don't worry though. Yoshikage Q is straight fan. Yeah, that's fair. But this one though, it's another bit of fun for me. Another Pokemon gym leader. Now, before I mention that the episode where we meet James's family and fiance is not my favorite, but it's up there. The Sabrina episodes of the OG Pokemon series are some of my favorite Pokemon episodes, period. It combines everything I love. Pokemon, the cozy fantasy vibe of Pokemon, and just abject actual horror. There is no heterosexual... Now, I think Sabrina dates in the games, I'm pretty sure, but like in the anime, I'm going to say Sabrina is ace. Sabrina cares nothing for romance. She just wants to perfect her powers. Pokemon Adventures manga confirmed it, that she's bisexual. The manga I remember reading a while back. I remember she was part of Team Rocket in the manga, and it has like a weird team up with, I think, like Misty, I'm pretty sure it was. But I always read Sabrina as super angry and repressed lesbian. Yeah, that's fair. Ditto, I love that. Those 3 episodes are fantastic. I adore those 3 episodes of Pokemon. They're just utterly great and just captivating from start to finish. Sabrina does not date that, it's Misty. Well, I knew Misty dated. I wasn't sure if Sabrina also dated. Again, it's been a while since I played Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It's been like ages. My opinion is that Sabrina's ace, because I think she's so obsessed with perfecting her powers that she is not really engaging beyond that. Oh, the manga confirms Sabrina is ace. Oh, that's better then. Okay, there we go. So, I'm right. There we go. At least in one continuity. That being said, though, Sabrina terrifies me on a level that's deeper in my childhood. And just this image fills me with so much anxiety just looking at it. And I love that. Hot take, Sabrina always gave big ol' autism vibes. Yeah, I'd say that's a fair point. I think Sabrina... Chloe, I agree with you on that one. Sabrina struck me as autistic, especially in the anime. In the manga, not so much, because she's more Team Rocket and all that, but in the game, she's very special interest, and not in a way that's frightening, but in the anime, it's... Yeah, oh yeah. The manga confirmed that Red is straight and that Yellow is trans. Oh yeah, that's right, because Yellow was confused for a boy at first, and then it turned out that, you know, it said Yellow wasn't, but is Yellow a trans woman or a trans man? I'm not sure. Again, it's been a while since I've read the manga. I have like the first 12 volumes, but I always forget the specifics. I knew I had a good reason why I always related to her. Yeah, no, I love... Chloe, you relating to Sabrina might concern me for other reasons. Please don't transform me into a doll. That would be really not fun for me, personally. Anyway, so moving away from Sabrina, Marcel. I always pronounce her name wrong. I've been watching it dubbed recently, too, so I should know this. Marcel. Yellow is NB coded. Yeah, that's fair. I feel like Marcel, especially with the whole thing with the sister, I feel like she might be bi, but also low-key bi, where I think her sexuality isn't a defining trait for her. She's much more intensely passionate about it, being with her friends and being with people. But I feel like she also has such disaster bi energy. This video turned into a therapy session for Ant. They all do. That's what my writing is, essentially. Femme-attracted men or women. Yeah, that's fair. Don't make Ant a marketable plushie. No, I'm not going to do that. Yet. Yeah, same with Saphir. Yeah, agreed. Your succubus is a very feminine man, and she loves making Fallon feminine. Yeah. So I think she does have a thing for femme men or women. Leaning towards women, I would say. But also with specific men. Yeah, I feel it's pretty fair. I love this series. This is such a comfort show, I feel like, Delicious in Dungeon. It's such a charming, lovely series. I think it's so wonderful. And I love how there's so much fantasy now that's not isekai. It's actual, legitimate fantasy. I just love that. I love how they're actually exploring genuine world building and characterization in these worlds now. I think it's fantastic. They've had Hancho team star. Yeah. Pokemon Shorty did. He had Green become trans because of a prank by Red, because like you said, there is some real horror in Pokemon that is really glossed over. Yeah, especially the manga. Pokemon manga is horrifying. There's some deep existential terror in both the manga and Pokedex entries. And the anime started with that horror, but over time it became less and less and less until we got to where we are. And has ADHD. Yeah, I would say has intense ADHD. She is an adorable disaster. I love her. Rogue from the X-Men. I feel Rogue is repressed on every level. Kind of a new entry, or at least not a very known one, but Saki from Girlfriend doesn't even hide the fact she's reaching Hohenborg for girls. Valid. Ash also became less of a funny brat. Yeah, that's also true, especially in the anime. I would say Rogue is bi. I think there's like a good argument to be made for Rogue being bisexual. I think especially because she's so touch-starved and so repressed that anyone who would be able to touch her she'd be attracted to. If she found a mutant who could touch her more in detail, who wouldn't like drop dead on the spot, I feel like she would be way attracted to them. Rogue is straight, you think? Okay. I think she leans more towards the straight side of... Oh, it's confirmed she's straight? When did they confirm she's straight? Yeah, I feel Rogue is just repressed. That's the vibe. I think like Rogue, given the option, if she could touch you, or if you want to touch her, she's attracted to you, I feel like. I feel that's the vibe with Rogue, based on years of comic reading. But, again, she's in a relationship with Gambit and Magneto. Yeah, that's true. Especially Gambit, very famously, and Magneto. She leans towards mask-presenting people. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I would see that. I can see that. That's fair. Yeah, and again, things can change. Again, different writers can come in and alter things. Again, people tried convincing us that Iceman was straight for years, so you have that going there. But I digress. But yeah, Rogue, I feel, is really defined by her repression more than anything else. Colossus. Yeah, I think he's straight. I know in the Deadpool films they keep having Colossus and Deadpool like flirt, but I don't tend to vibe with sexualities when they're confirmed. I don't know. That's tricky because again, with comics especially, there's so many statements people make over the years and they're contradictory. Some writers may say one thing, some might say the other, and that's a factor too. It's a little complicated. I think she's lean straight, but is so starved for touch that even if she's not attracted to you, if she can touch you, she will stay close. That's fair too. So that's less sexuality and more just intense emotion. He's straight. He's just Russian. Straight but lusted by many guys. Yeah. Colossus, I think, is very straight. But I think that he draws many admirers who are men. And I feel like he wouldn't be like mean about it. I feel like he would just be like, he'd take it in stride. Like he'd feel good about being hit on by men, but he'd feel guilty about turning you down. I feel that's how it would be. Yeah. Let's move on. The entire cast of Metal Gear Solid. All of them. Now, Metal Gear Solid is cool because Metal Gear Solid 2 was the first game to ever use the word bisexual aloud. Yeah, Colossus is married to Kitty Pryde, so he has bi-wife energy like Luigi, I'd say. Metal Gear Solid. I would say Metal Gear Solid, the entire cast is bi. Even if they don't know they're bi, they're bi. There's no straight explanation for any character that Hideo Kojima has ever made. Ocelot, Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, the one scene in Metal Gear Solid 3 where he determines who you are by like grabbing you between the legs. Yeah, no. Metal Gear Solid's cast is all Big Boss. No, there's no way. You cannot convince me. Otacon, no way. Raiden, no. There is no straight explanation for any Metal Gear Solid. It's so much easier if you just admit they're all bisexual. Skipped a couple there. Otacon is confirmed to have crushed Solid Snake. Yeah, I would say I think that's evident in the text of the game as well. Now, here's a surprising one I didn't realize. It has never been confirmed that Homura is a lesbian. They've never confirmed she's even not straight. Oh, the boss is confirmed bi. Oh, excellent. I know that the Vamp is confirmed bisexual, too, because, again, Vamp is the first character in video games to have ever been called aloud bisexual. To be fair, everyone in Metal Gear Solid is the same person. Yeah, valid. Homura... So here's the thing. Homura has never been confirmed for her sexuality, which is, I think, mind-boggling to me. Because Homura is one of the most thirsty lesbians I've ever encountered in fiction. She is a lesbian. She is exclusively interested in Maruka. There's no one else who she wants in this world, even if it destroys her on the inside and out. Homura is not bisexual. She is a full-blown lesbian. And I am stunned that anyone thinks they can say that they haven't confirmed her sexuality yet. Because, again, what I'm saying is, like, the creators have never confirmed she's a lesbian. It's just insane to me. It's wild to me. I don't get it. She's absolutely a lesbian. What are they talking about? The kiss mechanic in Metal Gear Solid 4 when Liquid Ocelot is reverting to his Metal Gear Solid theme line. Yeah, that's fair too. You know a thirstier lesbian than Homura? A thirstier lesbian than Homura. I have doubts. Chizuru from Bleach. Okay, I had doubts, but still. Homura is pretty gay. Johnny 5 from Short Circuit. This is kind of a joke. I'm not gonna lie. I had to include something like this here somewhere. I think it's less gay or straight, and more she's so broken by the loop she has no sexuality, just the mission. Yeah, that's valid. How do her tiny arms work that bow? It's a mystery. It is a mystery and a half. Johnny 5 from Short Circuit is very ace, I'm going to say, because he is a robot. This is where we get into the part where I was a little tired and just chose random characters. Yeah, you didn't see Johnny 5, did you? Yeah, Johnny 5 is ace. There's no question about that. Nightwing. Does Johnny 5 have swappable parts? That's a very good question. I'd say yes. Johnny 5 does have swappable parts. But don't forget that Johnny 5 is alive. I figured this one was a joke. Well, get ready because there's a lot more jokes coming ahead. Nightwing is the gayest straight man ever, I would say. I would say Nightwing is a bicon, but the straightest gay man I've ever seen. The gayest straight man I've ever seen ever. I'm just saying. Oh, he is confirmed bi? I thought he was confirmed straight. I thought he was like the least. I know he's like, no, I know Tim Drake is bi, but I never thought he was confirmed bi. Nightwing is a thirst trap of people of all genders. Yeah, that's valid. I think he is a big thirst trap for everyone. And I'm not talking from personal experience. Nope, not in the least. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard he was confirmed bi. I would say he's either bi or very straight, or very gay straight. Robots have sexual orientation. Just look at pretty much every character in Transformers. Yeah, that's valid. But Johnny 5, I think, is built differently, I would say. Anyway. So Nightwing, I'm going to say, is straight with a bi-leaning component there. In DC canon, he's bi and has the best butt. I don't know if he's bi in DC canon. I haven't seen that myself. But I firmly agree with the best butt. Dick Grayson is legendary with his derriere, I would say. And that's just not me thirsting over a fictional character, even though I will. And on main, I will add. But Dick Grayson is fantastic. Ryoko from Tenchi Muyo gives off strong bisexual wife energy. She is... And again, I think it's confirmed in some Tenchi canons that they're all just a massive polycule. Nicola Scott draws his butt especially well. Yeah, agreed. Nicola Scott's Nightwing art is legendary and beautiful. You got the whole bakery, yeah. So, Ryoko, I think, is the best girl in Tenchi Muyo. Bar none, you cannot fight me on this one. And Harley Quinn, they gave him a butt-up casket. Oh, God, yeah. First off, I hate that they keep killing off Dick Grayson and things, and, like, other media. But also, if you gotta bury him, do it with a butt-up casket. That's the only way of doing it. I have not thought of this anime in years. Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. But you know what? Bye. She's an ultimate dom mom. Even this outfit of hers screams bisexuality. There's something about it that has a really strong maybe it's the shoulder pad. Maybe it's like the poofy arms and shoulder pad element in the vest. I don't know. I think she just radiates bi vibes. According to Ed Greenwood, bi is the default in the Forgotten Realms D&D setting. Well, that's why I didn't include what's his name? Driss Jordan. I mean, I'm not fully sure of it. I'm pretty sure like they did here, and I kept putting it aside. Yeah, that's valid. Ida Clawthorne was inspired by her, I believe, and it made sense. They're both bi. Yeah, that's valid. Guts and Griffith. It is extremely windy here. If I lose power, that's what's happening. I'm just giving you a heads up right now. Because there are some heavy winds right now. I'm just hearing it right now. The whole house just kind of shook a little in New Jersey. They're giving Nightwing Jason Todd. They're giving Nightwing Jason Todd Red Hood story in Harley Quinn. Yeah, that would make sense. I think that would make sense if they do that. I can see that. That'd be cool though. I can see how they do that. A fun one literally makes discovering the sexuality to be a plot point in Sojin Gona Twin Tail. That's fair. Yeah. So I'm going to say that Griffith and Guts are both... Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know... This will get a little controversial here. I think Guts is bisexual, but I also think that because of his sexual trauma, that he's deeply self-repressed about his sexuality. Because he does admire both Casca and Griffith during the Golden Age, and later on, I would say. But I would say his trauma has impacted him so deeply that he can't express his sexuality under normal means. I don't think that Griffith... I think Griffith is ace. I'll be honest with you. Yes, I know he's all touchy-feely with Guts. Yes, I know that he has sex, and that's why he's captured. But I'm going to say that Griffith is ace because I don't think he's capable of feeling any attraction towards any human beings around him, of any kind. He sees them as tools, at best. And he sees sex as a way to get back at people. He doesn't see it as something he genuinely feels desire to do. I think Griffith is ace, but like a cruel ace. Like, I feel like he knows how to manipulate people's sexualities and exploits that. I think... But again, that ties in with Griffith's pure sociopathic tendencies. Not that he's ace, but I don't know if he's in love. I don't know if he's capable of feeling love. Truly. I think he feels possessiveness. I think he feels the desire to dominate. But I don't know if Griffith has ever felt affection, true affection, towards any human being in his life. Even in his best era in the series. So, that's my interpretation of Griffith. I think he's a pure monster, who sees things only in terms of possessions that are being taken away from him, and his rage at them choosing to not serve him in some way. I know they say he's in love with Guts and Casca, but I don't think he really was. I think he thinks he was, but I don't think he truly was, if that makes sense. Just based... Because if you love someone, you wouldn't do what he did to them. Like, even with the rage that he felt, and the bitterness and the feeling of betrayal that he inflicted upon himself. Like, it's not even like toxic love. He just... The things he does are just cruel. Like, he does some evil things. I don't think you can do that if you love someone. That's my opinion, but maybe I'm misreading the situation. That's always been my interpretation of Griffith. That he's less interested in romance and affection and more interested in, just being cruel. Anyway, on a lighter note, Sephiroth. No, he was, but Griffith is a classic narcissist. Yeah, that's valid. Yeah. If any character is called a narcissist, it's Griffith. Like, bar none. Magical Girl 1 is your face guy with trans coding on horror face. Okay, that's fair. Sephiroth, though, I think Sephiroth is what people think Griffith is. Like, I think he is genuinely, like, a little... I think he's Ace. I think Sephiroth is Ace. And repressed. But also, like, very much... Sephiroth is a fun Griffith. It's the best way of putting it. Like, he will betray all of your friends, but you can still like him on some level, whereas Griffith, what he does is so evil and cruel, it's hard to, like, sympathize with him. Sephiroth definitely has some strong sexual feelings towards Cloud, though. Yeah, 100%. He is very intimate with Cloud. Ace or gay for Cloud. There's no middle ground. He's never expressed any interest in women, ever, or non-binary people. He's just into Cloud. Though, if we go by the theory that Cloud's a repressed trans woman, then, well, there we go. But I think he's Cloud sexual. I think Sephiroth is Cloud sexual, is the best way of putting it. And, yeah, he's great. I love Sephiroth. He's a great villain. I mean, I know it's overplayed to say that, but I think Sephiroth is just a fantastic antagonist. Anyway, moving on. Conan the Cimmerian, specifically. The Robert E. Howard version of Conan. He's way too old for Cloud. Yeah, that's fair. Advent Children confirmed that Sephiroth is only in the Cloud. Yeah, 100%. We got that canon right there. Now, Conan the Barbarian, I would say, is very straight. I feel like Conan the Barbarian is a series filled with repressed homosexuality. But unlike He-Man, which has more overt homosexual tendencies, this is more straightforward, completely... He is interested only in women. Because of, I think, Robert E. Howard's potential suppressed homosexuality or gayness or bisexuality, and the overcompensation of that suppression feeding into Conan's style. That's a whole fan theory, though. I've always inclined to believe that Howard was maybe a little repressed sexually. I think Conan the Barbarian is Robert E. Howard's attempt at presenting the straightest straight man to ever straight, which makes him very gay. But he makes him straight, but it makes him gay. Does it make sense? Does that make sense? I feel like at this point I'm just articulating just random gobbledygook at this point. I'm not sure if that's an offensive term. Gibberish at this point. Anyway, I think he represents Howard's repression. Another fantasy character here is Elric of Melniboné from the Elric saga. I'm going old school fantasy here for a second. Indulge me. Elric is also very straight, but like the pathetic straight. Where every single woman that he's ever loved dies horribly. Every single woman that Elric of Melniboné falls in love with dies a horrible, painful death. All of them, no exception. And usually there's extra body horror thrown in there as well. That's all I can really say about Elric. I feel like no one knows who this character is. Read The Eternal Champions by Michael Moorcock. And yes, the creator of Elric of Melniboné's name is Michael Moorcock. Take that as you will. He is a very good writer, I would say. Conan is straight, but like Colossus, he attracts men. Yeah, 100%. But unlike Colossus, who I think would be cool with a gay man attracted to them, I think Conan would be angry at you for... Oh, I really got windy there. Anyway, he makes He-Man and Lion-O look straight. Yeah, 100%. Sounds like Dream of the Endless. Yeah. So Elric of Melniboné is the inspiration behind every pretty long-haired boy in fantasy. So Sephiroth and Griffith owe a little debt to Elric. N from Pokemon. How many do we have in here? 43. We are 43 into this 75 slide list. And we haven't gotten to Shinji yet. I feel like I'm running out of things to say for all this right now. I'm wondering would you guys be interested in us doing a separate stream where we go over the next half of this list I made? I might have been a little too overzealous with this stream. I feel like I'm running out of fumes of things to say about how bi these characters are. You think N might be... We'll finish N first, then we'll wrap it up, I think, and we'll keep going with the next half another stream. Because there's so many here I just haven't even gotten to yet. I would say N is definitely... I think N is a good place to stop with this after here. I think he's Arrow and Ace, I would say. But he also is... I also think he draws the attraction of the playable character. I think that's a good point there, I think. Yeah, part 2 is a good idea. Yeah, we're going to pause it, I think, after this, because... Oh, no, this is... I actually switched drinks. So I finished the scotch like halfway through, and I've been drinking a Blue Moon ever since, which is not my favorite beer, but my spouse bought it, and, you know, she likes Blue Moon. I personally am more of a IPA fan, but I don't want to waste the IPA after having scotch, because that feels like having too much anyway. So, I think we'll continue this another night. Let me back out of this. I think we're going to finish this another time. Let's just cool off our jets for right now. We have a part 2 of this game where we will talk about Shinji Ikari another time. So I'm going to wrap things up right now. 2 hours seems like a good amount of time for me to talk nonstop. Maybe I'll drag someone else into my madness to discuss the second half of this list. This was a fun stream, I think. A very low-key one, but it was still pretty cool, I think, to discuss these characters. And again, you know, I've been writing this whole week, been doing a lot of work, so I feel like it was good to have a nice, easy, less emotionally intense stream, because the last few were pretty intense. Dr. Doom can't love anyone else because no one can match the glory that is Doom. He's more likely to fail for a Doom bot than an actual person. Yeah, 100% true. Doom loves Doom. Dr. Doom, I'd say, is possibly Ace, but I'd also say he might be have a lore for Reed, because that intense rivalry thing is always like, you know, whenever anyone has like an repressed anger towards someone, it always feels like romance a little bit. Anyway, yeah. So this was a fun little stream. I might split it up with a more serious stream next week, and then come back to this at the time, just to give us some variety on streaming topics. I feel like if I just turn this into me having a therapy session about my bisexuality this whole time, it might be a little exhausting for audiences. So I will come up with a more interesting, dynamic, focused stream next time, maybe with another friend of mine or two, and we'll come back to this the week after. How's that sound? We'll find out how it goes. We'll play it by ear. I have a lot of characters I didn't get to, including some more strange characters, but, you know. Well, yeah, Doom is definitely repressed for Reed Richards, 100%. Anyway, this was a lot of fun. Let's do it again sometime, I'd say. But until the next stream we do, this is me signing off. I'm going to get a copious amount of water. Have a good one, guys.